All right, let's look at some muscle models, micro muscle models. There's one, there's the other, Elektra, and over there we got Medusa, and we're going to start off with Cleopatra. All right, so it's going to walk through some of the brief parts you need to know that we can spot on this. This whole thing is a myofibril, and so it's parts of myofibrils. So these big things. Let's start with that one, myofibril. Yeah. And so this whole thing is part of a myofibril going all the way across. So myofibril, not the last time you'll see that thing. And then this whole thing is a sarcomere, which I don't have labeled. That's okay. It's good. But this is a sarcomere, this region here. That's a sarcomere. It's a little bonus feature. Okay, what else can we see on this thing? Well, we can see a T-tubule. Start with this thing, a T-tubule. So a T-tubule is found there and there. T-tubules connect to the outer layer, they're called the sarcolemma, and they help carry electrical messages down. And so they help carry that inside the actual cell to get in these organelles. Okay, we got T-tubules done. Let's talk about sarcoplasmic reticulum. Let's swap terms. Sarcoplasmic reticulum. Check that sucker out. I love this thing. This nice blue, deliciously goodness here. Let's say some nice blue goo, like blue frosting on a cake. Man, that looks good. But that's sarcoplasmic reticulum. This is a modified smooth ER, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Its main job is really calcium. And this is stimulated by the signal coming out from the T-tubule. It stimulates this particular segment of the sarcoplasmic reticulum to release calcium, which is this red stuff. But all of this collectively, all this blue stuff, is all sarcoplasmic reticulum. Mentioned a specific part? Well, then let's look at that specific part. The terminal cisterns found here. And so these are at the endpoints of the sarcoplasmic reticulum and surround these T-tubules there. So they're found all in this region. And for those of you at home that have been, looking over some stuff, you may be thinking, hey, if you got a T-tubule and you got a terminal cistern, you got two of these things together, you got something special. And boy, do you. That's called a triad. So a triad is a T-tubule with two cisterns on either side. That's triad. It means three. So, better than the thinking cap. Next up, what do we got? Let's see. Mitochondria. We can see it. Mitochondria. Bam. Mitochondria. Looks like I just saw a ghost. Looks like a ghost. That's creepy. What else can we see? Let's look at some filaments. So underneath, well, we can see some Z-disc, I guess. We can take it back a little bit. Z-disc. So Z-disc. And so Z-disc is going to be found over here. And so right down here in this area, this is the Z-disc. Z-disc. The M-line, also a director's feature. Bonus, be down here. And this is the H zone from here to here. M-line. And a sarcomere goes from Z-disc to Z-disc. There we go. All right, let's look at some filaments. Thin and thick. Now on this model, you will see thin filaments in a couple of possible spots. You will see it here, in this segment, this light region, and then also into this region. That's where you'll see the thin filaments. And then you'll see the thick filaments here only. So generally right around here, thick filaments, this dark gray area. That's your thick filament. That leads us to the dark band, which you may have guessed is this dark region. Kind of goes all the way across here. So that's all the dark band. Dark band. Within the dark band, you can have thick and thin filaments. The light band, you may have guessed it, my friends. It is right here. So, light band. Either side of the Z-disc, composed only of the thin filaments. Those thin filaments, hopefully you remember, are made of a protein. That protein is called actin. So you will find actin in this area and also a little bit over here. But that's primarily a thin filament feature. Actin and myosin interaction is key for muscle contraction. So hate them all you want. It's the reason why you can move. Myosin, found in the thick filaments, so found here in this dark region only. So it's the only place you're going to find some myosin. You won't see myosin ever in this light region. So myosin hates the light. It's a dark. It's a creature of the night. It's Batman. All right, that's it for that model. See ya, Cleopatra. Let's move over here to Medusa real quick. Medusa's a little simpler. Not as much happening here. And so, myofibrils. These guys up here, myofibrils. So all that cool stuff. Nuclei. Can we see nuclei over here? Let's see. Nuclei. Yeah. Whatever. I guess not really. I mean, this is kind of a nuclei. Yeah, we'll count that. That's a nuclei. Yeah, it is a nuclei. What am I talking about? Whatever. Mitochondria is one you really can't see on this one. That's a shame. You can kind of see them here. Where's that mitochondria? Here it is. Mitochondria. Kind of those little things. Whoops. There we go. All right. Sarcolemma. This area here is the plasma membrane that surrounds a muscle cell. It gets a fancy name because muscle rolls that way. Muscle fiber. That's a muscle cell, baby. So all this right there, muscle fiber. This whole thing, everything you see upon us, Simba, is a muscle fiber. This is not. This is a nerve. This is a nerve. And this is the junction with the nerve to the muscle over there. That's enough for Medusa. All right. And then Elektra, one of my favorite Marvel characters. Elektra, the assassin. She's cool. Half good, half bad. I'm an anti-hero. Pretty sweet. Anyway, on this model, we see a lot. But also, not a lot. Start with the mitochondria, right? Bringing them home. Look at that. Nice little red bean looking thing. Looks like a fun, cool piece of candy. Pretty awesome. Tons of mitochondria. Makes sense. Muscles need it. Next up, muscle fiber. Again, muscle fiber. This whole thing. Look at that. Muscly, fiberly goodness. Does you well. Muscle cell. And then what else? We got sarcolemma. Okay, nice membrane here. And I like this model a lot because it shows the indentations the sarcolemma makes right in there. And what is that? This blue thing? It is, yes. It is a part of the thing, the sarcolemma. That is the T-tubules. So these T-tubules are found here. So they are just indentations of the sarcolemma inside of the cell. Crazy town. So all of these are T-tubules. T-tubules. And they, of course, connect with the sarcoplasmic reticulum, as we just saw. But now it's over here. Sarcoplasmic reticulum. Those have terminal cisterns, right? So found in that same underside region. Let's see if I can get a little zoom in action. There we go. Look at that. Bam. Bam. Terminal cistern. That, of course, makes up a triad. Where you have two cisterns hanging out with one cool T-tubule. Makes yourself a triad. It's awesome. Nuclei. We got one of them here. Nuclei. Bam. 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 This big purple rascal. Love it. All right, next up, what do we got? And that about covers it for this one. Yeah, that's good. So there's myofibrils embedded in all these. There's some light and dark bands, but it's kind of a little off. So we're not going to worry about that one a little too much. That's it for that one. And that'll be it. No, you know what? Let's bring it home. Come with me on a journey. Let's go over here. And so we got this thing. Now this is our last model. One of my favorites. Archimedes, the one and only. Archimedes is pretty awesome. This is a really zoomed in version of a sarcomere. This is in fact a gigantic sarcomere. If you see the title, you can see it down there. Giant sarcomere. So within it, we got some stuff. So I'm going to try and roll through this one pretty quick. So we're looking at here, this teal looking stuff, a very pretty color, if I may say. This is the sarcoplasmic reticulum. All this stuff, all sarcoplasmic reticulum. Even over here. Look at that. Tons of it. Eat it up. Looks like a big creepy forest. Just fitting for Halloween season. Next up, T-tubules. You know them, I know them, they're great. T-tubules, T-tubules, there we go. Bam, these nice bright yellow things pop out at you. T-tubules. And then we have the terminal cisterns. Where is it? Here they are. Terminal cisterns. Of course, part of the sarcoplasmic reticulum right here on the outside of the T-tubules. Right? And then, of course, if you got two of those cisterns and you get yourself a T-tubule, you got yourself a friendly combo called a triad. Triad. So these three things, a triad. Those are really important when it comes to carrying the electrical signal from a nervous impulse into the muscle, causing a contraction. So when you learn the physiology behind some of those steps, it's pretty important stuff. Terminal cistern, oh, so important. Releasing calcium, which allows actin and myosin to bind, causing a contraction. Anyway, let's take this crap off. Look underneath. What do we got? We got some stuff. Now at this point, this is in more of the contracted state because you see a lot of overlap between thin and thick filaments. During the contracted state, this over here, this light band is reduced. It is smaller in size to almost gone. Fun fact of the day. Moving over, this is the more relaxed state. Relaxed. Doesn't like to relax. And here you have less overlap between the thin and thick filaments. So that's the more relaxed state. So since we just mentioned them, let's look at them. Thin filaments, the red over here. These are all thin filaments over here. Thin filaments. That, of course, makes the thick filaments, the very special blue color in the middle, these blue fuzzies. Blue fuzzies, thick filaments. Bam, thick filaments. Well, on those filaments, you have your proteins. I mean, what's life without proteins, honestly? Myosin, found in the thick filaments. More specifically, these blue things. Bam, thick filaments. Okay. Actin, red. Red. Okay. And then the dark band will be from here to the very tip of these thick filaments all the way across. It's your dark band. Notice it has thin and thick filaments in it for a little bit. And then the light band is here. See all the way over there. Okay? And what else can we see here? Let's see, myofibril, muscle fiber. That's about it. M-line, this area here, director's feature. H-zone. Oh, Z-disc. God, how could I forget the Z-disc? I feel ashamed. Z-disc. This cool little thing over here. Now, if you look at it, it's kind of zigzaggy, like a Z. I think that was done on purpose, folks. I think it was. But Z-disc. Z-disc. Boom. And that closes out of the 4 microanatomy muscle models. There's a lot, but they're pretty cool.